Welcome to the Recoil podcast, where I, Three Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. Welcome back to the Recoil podcast. So I've got Matthew Robert Glenn Beam. He told me his full first name, so we're going to go with that.
But Matt, super hillbilly.
It's awesome. It's rare, right? That's three first names.
Yeah. The Army doesn't allow me to have three first names. I have to have a middle name.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, and you are a competitive shooter. You're active duty military right now. And we're going to call you a firearms philanthropist. And I can't even say the word.
There it is. I don't know how to spell it. And my grandma always told me if I can't spell it, it's not a real word. So
true. I can spell it. I can't say it currently. So before diving into all the shooting things, can you share a little bit about your background in the Army?
I've been in the Army for about 12 years now. Went to college first, played football, ran track, and then joined the Army. Started out in 75th Ranger Regiment, and then I've been a Green Beret for 8 years about. Awesome. And I'm an instructor right now at the Special Forces qualification course. So I got like 6 months left, and then I get to go back. So
cool. Did you know you were going to go military?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought about it when I was a kid. A lot of my family was in the military, and then I got finished college. Then I got a job, and I was Al Bundy, actually. I was a general manager of a shoe store, and actually here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, of all places. While I was working at the laborers union, and then I got laid off, and I was just collecting Obama bucks. And then my best friend was like, "Hey man, I got a 2-bedroom apartment in Fayetteville, North Carolina." I was like, "I'll be out there in a couple of weeks." And so came out here, sold shoes. Like, I actually had Al Bundy on my name tag for a while, and people were like, "Is your name really Al Bundy?" And I'm like, "No, dude, but I manage a shoe store and I talk about football stories."
This is Matthew Robert Glenn Beam, so
yeah, Al Bundy, Matthew Robert Glenn, whatever.
That's amazing. Okay, so your plan too. I mean, you've been competitive your whole entire life, like you said, from football days.
Yeah, I did. I ran, played football, baseball, basketball. I ran track. I used to be a really good athlete before I got about 570,000 miles on my body, and I'm all broken.
Yeah. So, okay, your firearms experience then, like, did you know about firearms before you went into the Army, or like, where did all that come from?
So I grew up in a small mountain town in Packwood, Washington. So my dad was in the military. My cousin was in the military. A lot of my family was in the military. And my grandpa, he was in Korea and everything. And so I was introduced to firearms super early in life. And so hunting and everything. And then my dad used to teach me how to shoot his 1911 all the time when I was young. I could take one apart when I was super young. It's kind of a man card thing if you ask me. But yeah, so that's just kind of how it all started. I used to just go to the rock quarry with friends and shoot all the time and everything. I actually never was that interested in competitive shooting. Really close friend of mine, Travis Denman, he's the one that actually got me into competitive shooting. He used to nag me all the time. I would go to the ranges and shoot and stuff, and he'd be like, "Come shoot 3-gun, come shoot 3-gun." And I'm like, "Nah, dog." And I was like, "No, I don't want to do that shit." And then I was actually deployed, and I had just re-enlisted like 5 years ago. And he texted me, he's like, "Hey man, I know you got all this money. Here's a list of shit you need to buy." And I was like, "Okay."
Do you remember the price tag on all of that?
I mean, it wasn't too bad. I got a Stoger M3K, so it's like $500. I gave him $1,500 to build me a rifle. It's pretty much all like an Aero Precision rifle, good barrel and all that shit. And then what was my first pistol? I had it was a piece of shit. The XDM Comp. That thing was a piece of shit.
Gosh, I've never seen anyone compete with XDMs before.
It was do. And then I got that Rock Island TAC Ultra, which actually for an entry level pistol is pretty good, especially for $500. And I ran the piss out of that thing.
That's awesome. So did your first gun though, like that was given to you, was that as a kiddo? Did you end up with that 1911? I gotta know.
So no, I don't know. So my dad actually was not a very good human being. So I did get, so my grandpa has his M1 carbine from Korea, which I got. So that's pretty cool.
That is really special.
And then I got a bolt action 20 gauge from him. That's from like 1947. It's pretty badass. And then I got a model 1949 30-30 lever action too. That's pretty tits.
Nice. My dad actually, that was his first gun he bought himself, and then I ended up with the 30-30, and I love it. It's a great hunting rifle.
Oh, for brush gun?
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's awesome though. Have you shot that M1? Like, do you get to take that out very often?
It's not bad. I don't have it here with me. It's at my parents' house. But it's a nice gun. I actually was an instructor at the Special Forces qualification course, the Bravo course, which teaches the Special Forces weapons sergeant course and stuff. And we still shoot all that stuff. And I mean, it's a nice gun, man. I haven't shot it in probably 10 years though. It's a gun bunny. It's in real good shape, and it's not a gun bunny, but
Safe queen.
A safe queen. And yeah, it's gonna stay that way.
Yeah, I feel like too, like us competitive shooters, I don't know why, but we rarely go shoot for fun, like in our other guns, right? Do you do the
you know, it's funny you say that. I don't mind if, like, I love going out and teaching people, and I'll go out and shoot. But if I'm just like going out and like fucking around with friends and shit, I'm just like, I'm just pissing away all this fucking ammo. And it's like, I'm getting no training out of this. And so you're just like, I don't know. I'm not getting any better. I guess I'm having fun.
I have safe queens, and I've never said I would have safe queens. That's really funny.
So you know what's crazy to me? I used to have a whole bunch of ARs and shit, and a whole bunch of guns. And once I started competitive shooting, I was like, why do I have all this shit? And I was like, well, I need more money for competitive shooting, and I have the exact same rifle, but with a different optic on it 5 times. And so I was like, why do I even do this? I don't even need all this shit. So I was like, having 2 of everything is good.
Yes. Now I do agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So when you did you start first carrying concealed like right when you turned 21? Or I don't know if the legal age was different for you, but
I mean,
legally.
I don't think I really started. I think I was 24 when I got my concealed in Washington.
Cool. Okay.
So 24. And I just thought I was some like badass. It's embarrassing to think about. You're like, man, I was a retard. Man, I got my concealed carry. And I had some big clunky ass SIG, and I was just like, it was so dumb. So dumb.
I was gonna ask you what gun did you carry?
But now I just one of the Glock 43X's. So that's like standard issue for everybody these days.
Yeah.
What do you got, Glock 43? Weird.
That's actually, yeah, the episode before this podcast.
That's like the standard. I would like to get one of those, what is it, the little SIG 365s?
I want
the little red dot.
Really bad.
Those are pretty rad. Those I shot one of those a few months back.
They're sweet.
That's a nice little gun, but it's like $700.
Yeah. So I found it for $7.99 with the red dot already on it. And I was like, that's not bad.
Yeah, for a carry gun, I'm not. I mean, Blue Label, $400 all day.
There you go. Yeah, so, for people who don't know, actually, it's a good tip. You want to share about that Blue Label program that most people don't know about?
Well, so this is funny. I mean, if you're military or first responder, you can get, I think it's like at cost, or Glock offers this program where it's you get a couple $100 off, but a lot of places are super shitty and shady, so they'll mark it up $200 and then you'll get it for at MSRP, which is a lot of places around Fort Bragg like to do that because they're scumbags. Okay. There's one place around here, I forget the name of it, that actually like gives you the real Blue Label.
Nice.
So
that's awesome. That's well deserved. Yeah. Find a good gun store. That's really hard to find these days, actually. You know?
Yeah.
So oh, go ahead.
You're good. I'm listening.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say the gun store is the issue. Buying new is hard. I don't know. That's just a whole different can of worms right there.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest lesson that you learned when you were carrying, or did you learn anything? Sounds like meh.
That's a good question. Just kind of like, I guess like just like practicality, what works for you day to day, and that like is going to facilitate your economy of motion while you're carrying and everything. Because you don't really know the situation you're going to be in, what's going to be comfortable for you to draw seated. If you're getting out of your car, just like something that's going to work in every potential environment where you might have to be able to draw your gun, and being able to get to it, something that fits right and you're going to be able to sit comfortably, as well as it's not going to impede your economy of motion if you actually have that now, I wouldn't say opportunity, but if you're forced into that situation where you're going to be able to draw the gun and you're not digging for it on your body.
Yeah, or out of your purse.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I've been really, really thinking about that fanny pack life. So, I mean, it's a jack of all trades. You can have a snack pouch and a gap pouch. So.
Did you just make that up?
I did. That was pretty good. I'm actually really proud of myself right now for that.
That's awesome.
Not to be reproduced without the written permission of Matt Beam.
Right? Copyright?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you think that, like, how many holsters, actually, let's go back to that. How many holsters and rigs, like, did you try out when you're trying to figure out what worked for you?
I don't know. I don't know. I will say I had this leather one that I got from work that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just this, I found it like stuffed in this old box in our cage. I don't think it had been used since like Nam.
Oh my God.
But it was the most comfortable. It held the gun great. Comfortable against me for like carrying appendix and everything. And I don't know what happened to it.
Oh,
like,
no.
because I would take it on deployment with me and everything too. And like this, it was phenomenal. And it looked like it was like handmade or made by some real shitty company, but the leather was actually really good and it was really broke in.
Yeah.
And it was really smelly when I would take it off. It smelled like cat piss and Fritos. I don't know what was wrong with it. It stunk, but It was great. And I came back and I was looking through my deployment box and everything, and I'm like, no.
God.
But I really like the priority one holsters one that I carry right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I love Lucas. I love his products and everything. It's just a little bit bulkier than I would like. I like a little bit more minimalist on me. It's a little bit more comfortable. And so I run Chad from Priority Ones 43. So I like it.
He made my first rig for my 2011. But going back to that, my first holster was Talon holsters, and it was all leather for my 40.
Mhm.
That was like the very first gun I had. And then I switched. I have crossbreed holsters now too, where it's the mix up leather on the body and then Kydex on the outside. Like I have a bunch. Like don't get me wrong, I don't have one set because you have so many different clothing. But man, like leather and if somebody's leather doesn't stink, then they are not carrying every single day.
It stunk when I pulled it out and I was like, like it was just this floppy, like it held the gun good once you put the gun in. But it was like a dead animal, like an old possum pelt or something. I don't know, but it was awesome. I was a sad panda when it was gone.
Oh, you know what I can relate that to is like getting a cast off. I feel like that's what it smelled like.
I've never been in the cast before.
What?
I broke my elbow my freshman year in college, and that's the only, well, I broke some when I got blown up in 2015. I broke some ribs and the spinal processes on your spine, like the shark fin things, and then I cracked some vertebrae, but you can't cast that shit. So
no, but that's more painful.
It wasn't that bad, I didn't think.
Because you're a badass.
I thought the ribs were going to be super bad, but it actually wasn't like that bad.
What's the worst pain that you've ever felt? Losing the holster?
No. Yes. No. When I had hernia surgery and I sneezed like the next day, that is the worst. Like I cried. It was so bad. I couldn't get off the ground. I was like, that was one thing I dreaded. Because so it was just a belly button hernia, and so I go in. It should have been a telltale sign when I rolled in, and my surgeon looked like Chris Farley's twin sister that lived in a van down by the river. And I'm like, man, this chick looks just like Chris Farley, but lives in a van. And she's like, okay, you're gonna be good. 2 to 3 holes max. I woke up and it looked like I got hit with buckshot. There was 9 holes in me.
What?
Like all around my abdomen. And I'm like, what happened? Why? What is wrong with me? She's like, oh, there was I'm surprised she wasn't like, there was a few malfunctions. But yeah, it was bad. Like it took like 5 months for my abdomen to like do sit-ups, such super sharp pain and everything. But bro, sneezing, I was like, I had like 10, like I was like day 3, I think, and there was like 10 sneezes that like I was able to like negate. And there's one I was like, no, but I tried to plug my nose and I couldn't do it. And oh man, that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Oh, God. It was terrible.
I was expecting it to be a lot worse or a little different story than hernia, but there we go.
No, yeah, right.
Awesome. My last question actually about concealed carry, maybe you can speak to this. What do you notice about like the people around you when you're out and about and carrying concealed? Like, are they noticing you? Are they even paying attention?
It's so like prevalent here. Like you don't really even pay attention to it because you, especially around like Fort Bragg area, you just assume everybody has a gun.
Yeah.
Like for real. It's like, if you don't got one in your console, you got one on you, you got one underneath your seat. You got one in your toolbox. Like seriously, I mean, it is Vietnam, but it like just everybody, it's just everybody does it, and you don't even like look for it or really even like think twice about it. All the hillbillies out here like to open carry. That it cracks me up when like dudes are open carrying and they just got a single stack like 45, and I'm just like, sweet flex, bro. Dude, you see, it's really prevalent with those dudes with the Carolina lean trucks, the big lift on the front, and they forgot to put the lift on the back. Yeah. Those guys all open carry. Like, it's like, I'm going to open carry my 1911. It's a 6.6 inch barrel. Like, stupid.
That's awesome. How about outside of Fayetteville then? Are you
Outside of Fayetteville,
yeah.
I don't I don't really like worry about other people in a
Mhm.
sense, like so much and like what they're carrying. I don't think anybody really pays attention, especially like I feel like in the South, especially like North Carolina, South Carolina, like Tennessee, Georgia. Um, it's like very like prevalent that like people concealed carry, and it's just the like back home in Washington, it's like, you
2%.
know,
Yeah.
like super like nobody concealed carries, like hardly that I know.
Yeah.
And then out here, it's like everybody.
That's awesome though. I mean, you want to be in that community, I guess, for us, right? It was, but
Yeah,
when I started carrying, like, it surprised me too how much even like people by themselves or females or late at night, like I'd see them on their phone looking down, not even paying attention to their surroundings, right?
yeah.
That's what changed for me.
It. I don't know. Just being in the military for so long too, like
Yeah.
you're just kind of always you're hyper aware of your situation. And just it's so ingrained into you
Yeah.
that you're always paying attention to um like situations or like key indicators on people in that sense. And it's yeah, you're just like the people like in my line of work and everything, it's just like everybody's always hypersensitive. You're like, what's that motherfucker doing? What's he doing? And so especially like out with my wife and everything. And it's like you're always paying attention to that kind of shit.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that's one thing that civilians could learn more of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what color shirt? What were they wearing? Where'd they come in from? What car? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are they do they look like a crack smoking swindler? Are they gonna try to take my money?
There's a lot of that in Tennessee. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff. So shooting
Okay.
competitively, you've
Mm-hmm.
been at 5 years ish.
Yeah, I'd say 4.5, 5 years. Yes, I strictly only shot three gun for the first like 3 years of that.
So
I
that was
used to be.
my next question. Three gun was like major match or like a local match?
I used to do go everywhere.
No, for
Uh,
your first. Like, what was your first?
oh, so first match I shot low country out here in South Carolina where they have the South Carolina State match.
Yeah,
They used to have a badass three gun,
cool.
super badass. So I shot that one, and then the next day, Sunday, we did a double dip, and we went down to Sandhill down in South Carolina, just east of Columbia. Really nice range. But that dude, that one in low country used to be super competitive. I actually finished fifth overall in my first one. Then I was like sixth the next day too. So and then I got the
Yeah, yeah.
bug
I'm
for it.
surprised that you. I mean, not surprised. I feel like with your background, like three guns is not daunting, right? But for
No, it was getting used to the shotgun. But a little pro tip: if you get hernia surgery and you want to get really good at quad loading, buy a shotgun and sit on the couch for 30 days and teach yourself to quad load while your wife's watching TV. And God damn it, man, I trying to watch it.
yeah.
Like, but I actually got really, really, really good at quad loading real fast. So
That's the hardest
it
part.
worked out real good.
Yeah. What? So is your favorite gun rifle?
You know what? I just like guns. Like I'll just ripping the shit out of a rifle, ripping the shit out of a pistol, or ripping the shit out of your shotgun. It's like, I don't know. You got to think like, it's not so much the shooting aspect. I mean, I love the shooting portion, but once you get like in your 30s, 40s, all the way up to 80s, there's not a lot of stuff that you can be competitive at or feed your competitive edge and everything. And shooting sports is one. It's timeless. Like there's a guy to the local USPSA match that I run every month. He's 80 years old and he comes out and shoots PCC all the time. And it's a great social event. The community's awesome.
It's
And
outside for the most part where they need to be.
yeah, and like you can compete against yourself. Shooting guns is always fun, and it's just another, like, it's just that competitive feeling, like you're on the clock. You're shooting and moving, like target transition, weapons manipulation, all that kind of stuff. And it's a good positive outlet. And yeah, it's like, I guess for me, it's like kind of like the jack of all trades, because like I can't play football anymore.
Yeah.
I can throw, my shoulders are so trashed, I can throw a baseball maybe 8 feet. I'm not going out playing rec league basketball because I'd probably die. But yeah, this is something that feeds your competitive edge, and I mean, it's relatively safe. Like,
Yeah.
though last weekend there was a dude that blew his hamstring out on like the second stage, and he was hopping around.
But he kept going.
Go ahead.
Did he keep going?
Oh yeah, he was dragging a stanky leg the rest of the day. But I mean, it was like 111 heat index. It, like, that's the only match I've ever shot where I just, like, it just wasn't fun.
Yep.
Like, it sucked.
Yep. My first competition ever was the 115 record breaking heat in August. And that was my first ever. 2 days of that. I was like, and I came back. Yeah. I like what you said though about timeless competing. I used to shoot cowboy action a little bit, and there was an 82-year-old that would smoke us on stages. There's not a lot of movement in cowboy action, but it's still 3 guns.
They do a cowboy action out here in Rayford down by my house. I follow this kid. He's probably like 13 or 14, does cowboy action.
Yeah.
On Instagram. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous watching him shoot.
So cool. What's his name? Alias.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But dude, watching that kid like rip that shotgun, like crack it, and they pop out and throw them back, and it's like the flick of the wrist.
Yep.
And everything. It's pretty cool to watch.
I'm not that good, but I love loading a shotgun side by side, and I can do a lever action. There's a kid named Matt Black that actually has won like 4 or 5, maybe 6, I don't know, don't quote me, world championships, and he's the fastest person I've ever seen shoot any gun out there, cowboy action wise. It's really cool. So I think he's only like 20 now, 21 maybe.
Yeah.
Grew up in it, you know. So Travis ropes you in a 3-gun. And did he prepare you for the match?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, we did like 2 weeks of practice, and well, because I'd fucked around with him a whole bunch, and I'd been to the range with him. We would just do, I mean, because I'm an 18 Bravo and everything, and he's a like retired 23-year SF Ranger dude, and we just met. He used to have a CrossFit gym at his house, and we were right down the road. And when we moved out here, my wife and I were big into CrossFit, and he was still in at that point in time. And then he was like, "Hey, come shoot. You're gonna be Bravo. You need to learn competitive shooting." Because the cool thing, like, this is one thing I like, all my students, I'll let them come out and shoot my matches for free.
Cool.
I think anybody in the military, it's a necessity for them to competitively shoot in some sort of capacity, because it all translates to work. It all like exponentially increases your battlefield effectiveness. Like I was kind of touched on earlier, like shooting on the move, shooting under stress under the timer, weapons manipulation, near far target transitions. Every little bit of that translates to work, and that will make you a better marksman. The Army marksmanship stuff that they teach you is like 30 years out of date. I've exponentially learned more from civilian stuff than I ever have in the Army. And it's crazy when I started bringing like competitive shooter training to my team. It was like, no, we got to do it then. No. Like just this archaic bullshit.
Right.
And it's like, boom, boom, transition, boom, boom. And you're trying to teach them, like, drive the shit out of the gun. And like teaching, hey, that transition time, like that 0.4 of a second transition time can cost you your life if you start ripping the gun and you're transitioning in like 0.12 seconds and everything, and shooting on the move, and you don't have to shoot, like you don't have to keyhole everything.
Yeah.
And then we started running everything my way, like on the move, stress shooting, driving the gun and everything. And everybody was like, oh,
I got it now.
Yeah, you right. And it, like our team, like my whole team, just like the amount, like how much we progressed in like a 3-month period, like it was amazing. And we had that year, we actually we always get this ammo budget, and it's always like bullshit and super low and everything. But if you know how to hustle, you get all the ammo you want. And I'm really good at hustling. So it we shot more, my ODA alone shot more rounds than an entire company in my battalion alone. So
wow.
It's just because like you start getting really good and you're like, hey, we're going to go to this school, we're going to go to this place and train, and we can test these kind of capabilities. And yeah, the big thing, especially with the military too, the big thing, me teaching, and like we were able to purchase a bunch of LPVOs, and we all got 1 to 6s and 1 to 8s, and the Army will teach like the short range shit, and then the long range, and they really lack on, I guess you could say, like urban marksmanship, like, because a lot of our engagements are between like 1 and 400, which is huge in 3-gun, and learning to do your holds. And that's like, I was super big on like near to far and far to near target transition and stuff, and being able to shoot from barriers. And you probably see the barrier in my yard right there. You see it? I gotta be. So awesome. And that stuff is super, super important. And that's another thing that the military is lacking in teaching soldiers at any level, is that near to far target transition, teaching holds. And one thing that the Army needs to get, like, people don't shoot enough steel to be able to get feedback and know holds and everything, because you don't really get any, not everybody has glass, and you don't get shit out of shooting paper. And the Army is so far behind in that stuff. And that's like one thing I always stress my students and everything. It's like, hey man, there's carbine matches, there's 2-gun matches, there's 3-gun matches, there's pistol matches. Whatever your niche is, it is here. As far as I'm concerned, this is the hub of competitive shooting, next to Arizona, because they can do it year round. But like the Carolinas is the absolute hub, and the amount of talent out here, and people, like the community out here is really good. And the amount of people that out here that like take the time and just go out to the range, and like I've like so many students I've had the opportunity, like I'm absolutely grateful for it, like to have the opportunity to teach them like a higher level of capacity for knowledge when it comes to marksmanship and tactical shooting, being able to take that to their team. And essentially a lot of them show up to their team knowing more than their senior Bravo, which is always good. Yeah. And I mean, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think what you said is valuable. A lot of people, they're really good at one sport. And I mean, fantastic, really at one sport, and maybe they'll shoot some others, but I think it's really cool that you guys have that diversity, because I think Steel Challenge helps with transitioning really fast, right?
I have not shot Steel Challenge yet. Yeah. I would like to, but I mean, obviously I'm married, and I can't expand as much, but I do shoot. I have a bunch of static steel that I practice on all the time. Nice. So I'll do, I do it ish. So yeah. But it
helps. I mean, if you're going here and you're slowly turtling to the next target, when you're Steel Challenge, you're moving fast, and then depending on the size, slowing down to make the hit.
Some of those kids that do that shit for it's stupid.
So cool.
Like watching the Williams sisters, like Justine or whatever, shoot that with her PCC. You're just like, what?
Yeah. What? We had a RO, Grant Kunkel. I love ROing.
Oh yeah, that dude's. I've seen that guy can rip it.
Yeah, and then I showed up at Worlds this year, and Ken Nagata, I think he's 13 now in California. Nobody had heard of him, right? Ends up on our stage or on our squad, and I had Jesse Harris and everything. And as soon as he shot, and we all were like, "Shut the F!" Like nobody knew this kid. And we all turned around, we're like, "Hold on, what?"
Who is this kid? He's a ringer.
He will be a world record holder. I fully know. Like
he's
that's
probably actually 23 years old. He's the new age down. He's the competitive shooting Danny Almonte.
There you go. That's awesome. But I mean, I absolutely love what you're saying. Civilian training can really help. And there is applications, like you said, that you can use in the real world. For me,
well, you know, what's funny is why so like the top echelons of military special operations, why do they have like we have Joe Farewell comes and trains Green Berets, like JJ Ricazza comes out here and trains. Like there's a reason why these people come out and teach us. Why these competitive shooters come out and teach us, because it exponentially transfers over to our job.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, it's like it's a must being in, and it's fun.
So fun.
Like it's absolutely fun.
And then you get ammo, apparently.
Huh?
I said you get ammo, apparently, ish.
It's not like it used to be. God, like right when I first started, bro. Bro. And well, we don't get like 55 grain or 77 grain anymore. They just give us garbage ass green tip. And that's one stupid thing too, is you can't, like, we're so hamstrung with shit that we can do because they want to give us like the tungsten stuff and the green tip, and you can't, it eats up. Hang on, I got this stupid Discord telling me powder's in. I completely lost my train of thought. So like you can't shoot steel with that shit. And like they're like, no, you're just gonna destroy it, or they won't, like, we don't have the budget that we used to, because we used to buy a shit ton of steel and like shoot the fuck out of it. And well, like, they just
fun, though. Like buy green tip or buy steel, and if you buy both, or you're gonna screw up one or the other, you know.
Yeah, and it's dumb. It was nice when, like, when we would deploy, we'd have all the free steel that we wanted. We would just cut it and just put it on the range and shoot it till there was holes in it and go get more. But
the glory.
Now you gotta pay for it out here.
Yeah. What about, did you shoot the Noveske carbine matches?
I did. I've shot 2 of them.
So cool. And they're not bringing them back?
So I know Jason and them were trying to bring back a carbine match last year, but then COVID hit, and then I stopped shooting 3-gun because it's like, what is it, like $94 a round or something like that right now for 5.56. And so I was just like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. And I have enough to shoot a couple like major matches a year, like a couple days before I'll practice with wad loads. And because you, like, being in the military, like, you don't really get rusty at rifle. Like, right. It's not that much of a perishable skill, as long as you like go out and check the dope on your gun. Yeah. And like, cool. I mean, as long as you don't let hide overboard, like, F you, and you don't forget about that, the close targets, you just literally put the dot on the paper and let it rip. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And
then you just, not practical.
Yeah. Pistol is 100% a perishable skill. But yeah, so COVID happened. Then the last year and a half, I've just shot USPSA. So
you've been having fun. We'll get into that. That was really cool. So like for 3-gun, did it take a learning curve for you to like get the hang of it, or do you feel like, I don't know, you got it? I mean, it sounds like you were that good from the get-go, but for most people,
I didn't think I had much of a learning curve, because it was the shotgun. I shot like 3 or 4 matches and I did super well. I don't think I finished worse than like 7th in the first like 4 or 5 that I shot. And then I had hernia surgery, and then I just had like a month off just to get the sun out of my face. There we go. I'm outside on my deck. It's nice. It's actually super nice outside. It's like 80 degrees today.
Like 80. I was saying, like,
the humidity isn't on a billion, so I was like, I'm gonna do this outside.
Why is 80 degrees cool? Like, that's when you know that you live in a hot place.
Yeah. And and then I couldn't do anything for 30 days because I had hernia surgery. And then I got really good at reloading, and I came out then and I just hit the ground running. And then I got pretty good at 3-gun, and then I hurt my back scooping dog food. And then I partially tore my Achilles. And then I just like,
Matt, how many more years you got on you?
just sucked.
So how many
You're breaking
years?
up a little bit.
Oh no. Oh, there you go. We're back.
I'm trying to, the sun's like right in my face.
For those listening or watching, you can see it.
Oh, they can't see me. It's just on the radio.
No. The people that watch it on YouTube get to see it.
Oh, okay.
People listening don't. So, okay. So how about no body issues and no ammo problems? What is your absolute favorite shooting discipline to shoot across the board?
USPSA by far. I love 3-gun, but it's like, hey, come over here, shoot this with your pistol. It's USPSA is so much more dynamic and more of a cerebral sport, if you will. To like minimize your positions, being able to blend positions, economy of motion, shooting on the move. Like, there's so much that goes into being a good USPSA shooter. It's so much more of a game than it is, I feel like, shooting 3-gun.
That makes sense. And there is.
It's just so much more dynamic. And yeah, there's more, I think, like mental athleticism in it and like physical athleticism compared to what there is in compared to 3-gun. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But hey,
it's fair.
Yeah.
So did you transfer the XDM over into USPSA?
Oh no, dude, I had that for like 6 weeks before I sold it and got that Rock Island.
Okay. So was that your first gun that you started USPSA in?
No, the first gun I started doing, so I actually I was super against USPSA because I had a really bad experience shooting my first USPSA match. Like, this is one thing why I run a very new shooter friendly match. Very first USPSA match, I was like, I will never ever shoot one of these motherfuckers again. Like, they were rude to me. Like, I didn't know question. Like, nobody wanted to answer my questions. They tried to DQ me on like, and I generally was like, I want to do this as something because it's going to help me with 3-gun at the time. And I just want to shoot pistol better. And I shot one. I don't think I shot another USPSA match. I shot like 2. And I was like, I'm never going to shoot this shit again. And just because, and you go to places like that, and there are people like that. That's one thing I will say. The community for 3-gun is like not as sometimes pretentious, I guess is the word that I will use, as it is in USPSA. When it comes to like new shooters, and some people don't believe in coaching and shit like that. Like, if you're a new shooter at a 3-gun match, like, we will follow you and be like, shoot this, shoot this, shoot this. And I had a really, really bad experience. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a go. Cause good friend of mine, Tony Cowden, and then one of my closest friends, Kevin Stickley, he started getting me more into shooting USPSA. And the first gun I started shooting USPSA, I had an Akai Island Barrel gun, and then it's a pretty good gun.
Yeah, just a little.
And it was my 3-gun. I didn't have a 40 till June of last year. I've been only shooting 40 for.
I still saving for 40. Yeah,
a little over a year.
Minor.
But then I got super lucky with the opportunity with Bul that they gave me. And so I had a 9mm. I started shooting just 9mm limited for the first 6 months. And
Nice.
I will say shooting limited minors really, really fun. I hadn't shot so I hadn't shot a 9mm, my 9mm gun, for like 6 months when it came to the Memorial 3 gun last year, and I pulled it out like 2 weeks before, and I was shooting that 9mm, and I was just like, oh my god, it was like a toy. Like you could literally go 5,000 miles an hour with that. There's no recoil. Like wherever I like pointed it, that's where it went, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah. Spoils you. It totally spoils you. You know what I mean? Like, how do you go back?
Yeah, especially with like shooting 3 gun, there's no hit factor. You're like, as long as this, can go 50 yards without hitting the dirt. What power factor are you running out of that? Like 17? I don't know.
Yeah. That's really cool. Okay, so now you're set up. So you started out with the Rock Island. What do you run now, gun gear wise?
So I run Priority 1 holster, and then I do. Do you want me to go get my shit?
Yeah, go get it.
All right, I'll go get my belt real quick.
Okay, we're gonna pause.
So, do we gotta like time out and pause it?
Yeah. Welcome back from
All right, we're back at it.
Okay, Matt, what you got?
Time in. So I run a Priority 1 holster with
the Pornhub label.
No, this is the Priority 1 label.
Pornhub.
So this is, I'm just like, obviously I shoot for them, but I'm not like trying to plug them. This is the best. It's CNC machine cut and everything. It's made perfect. Like it's the best quality holster that for competitive shooting that I've ever used. And it's like, it comes perfect. And I don't even know how many draws I have out of this thing. And probably like 9 billion.
Yep. And then like Carbine, I've never changed mag pouches because they just work. So.
And well, I have the double alpha.
Nice.
I run the double alpha mag pouch just because you can like twist them and do all that jazz really easy. And then I got the magnet on the front for sometimes you do unloaded starts. But yeah, this Chad's a hilarious human being, and like he's a friend of mine and everything. Super cool dude. And what's cool about these holsters, they're like $50-$60 too. Like you go to some other places and you're getting a molded one and it's $120.
I know.
And it's like, and this is like, in my opinion, like it's CNC machine. They're made perfect every time, and they're $50-$60, which is super tits.
I'm pretty sure I got my stuff in like 3 or 5 days for all of it.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
So this is my USPSA gun. It's 40 cal. It is I just flagged myself. Sweet. But it's empty. So this is the Bul Armory Radical. It's 5.4 inch sight block gun. This is by far the most reliable gun I've ever shot in my life. This thing runs and runs. I don't clean it. I neglect the shit out of it. And it just runs and runs and runs. Like I got over 60,000 rounds through this gun. And like obviously look how like disgusting this thing is. Like it's like a rat's nest, but it runs. And the only time I've never had an issue with it, this is pretty cool though too. You can see that.
What does it say?
It says Beam 001. That's my
cool
VIP dog. But phenomenal company. And like having a pistol sponsor, I guess pistol and ammo sponsor is kind of like the holy grail of everything. And like those guys at Bull, like gave me a shot, and I'm forever grateful for those guys, man. Like super high quality guns. I don't ask for a lot from them, but whenever I ask for anything, it's boom, they take care of me. Everything I need. I'm actually number 2 in the world for their brand ambassadors for sales and whatnot. So, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, to that too, you do a really good job of having people try out those guns. Like when you travel to
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm so grateful for the opportunity they gave me. Like, you can use my ammo. I'll bring my guns if you want to use them. I'll loan them to you. You can shoot the match with them. A lot of people are like, no, I don't like to loan my guns out. Yeah. I'll loan out anything that I have, man. I don't care. Like, as long as you don't break it.
Which I would.
But I mean, it's cool, man. It's like the quality on it's phenomenal, and it just runs and runs and runs and runs. And the only time I've had malfunctions is when I don't clean my mags. And so that's the one thing I do clean all the time is mags. But I clean this gun probably every 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 rounds.
That's awesome. So pretty much.
It looks like every time I clean it, it looks like the La Brea tar pits.
Yeah.
When I clean it, I'll clean it before a major match.
You need to,
but I'll let it go for like 2 months, sometimes 2-3 months. I think the longest I've let it go is like 6,000 rounds.
Nice.
And it was pretty yucky. Yeah. I took it apart and I was just like, ew.
Oh yeah. When I traveled and I was gone for like 3 weeks and it was match after match after match, I was like, oil will be fine. We'll be fine.
Super cool. I'm super excited for Bul after SHOT Show. They got some killer stuff coming. So shameless plug. You guys gotta wait till after SHOT Show or at SHOT Show. They're dropping some hotness, and I can't wait for it.
That's awesome. So how did switching to, a better 2011 and everything on that really comfortable platform improve your shooting and answer the question between, there's really not a big difference, I'm guessing, between the 9mm and the 40 when it comes to recoil, right?
So they're just different platforms. I mean, there's major power factor, and it's not that much. Like, it feels, I guess, like you're shooting because this gun shoots super flat, super soft, especially with the big sight block on it. It's a little bit less snappier than a 9mm, but because I run 180 grain bullets, but it's like super soft. If I shoot this if I shoot this, my 40 shoots softer than like factory 9mm ammo. I'll say that's a good comparison. Or if you or you shoot a Glock or something, then my 40, it shoots 1,000 times softer. But yeah, that gun like tracks phenomenal, shoots flat. Like, I love that gun. Like the other 2011s I had, like, I always had like little issues and stuff with that, like with the gun, but like that Radical is like an absolute workhorse. It just runs and runs. Like, you can run anything through it and it just eats it and eats it and eats it and just keeps going.
That's awesome. That's the biggest struggle, I think, for having the right gear, having the right gun, and honestly, like, okay, for 3-gunners, there's the thing of like, we suck at pistol, which is ish, not as true, but like
it's
ish. But I was gonna say, switching to a 2011 made me a better pistol shooter and made me want to shoot pistol. That was the game changer, right? Like,
so this is the thing, like, you can tune a polymer pistol only so much. Only so much. But like my dude RJ McBoy, he loves Glocks. But Matt Martini, phenomenal shooter. He still runs shit out of Glocks, and I know he has a haze, but he's one of the best 3-gun shooters in the nation. Ran shit out of the Glock forever. But I will say, you can tune them the way you can tune a 2011, and the tighter tolerances and everything. A polymer pistol cannot give that to you.
Yeah.
And just like, the weight recoil management. You can do the springs, the trigger weight. I mean, you can do like tungsten guide rods, brass mag wells, like everything. It's just a whole different ball game. Than like it is a lot more spendy.
Okay,
but it's worth the investment.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the biggest thing, right? Buy once, cry once, or buy a lot, cry a lot, whatever. For the people listening that are really on that fence, right, of investing in what, 2, 3, 4, or 5 Glocks, or Glock at 500.
Oh, I have friends with like 5 or 6 Glocks. I'm like, get rid of it. So right. I will say, I'm gonna do another shameless Bul Armory plug. So this is a 9mm, like for 3 gun, and you can get it in 42. This is their entry level, their standard limited gun. This is $2,100. And it comes race ready out the box, and it will run and run and run and run. And like a lot of the, like you will not find a better bang for your buck. Like, I mean, this thing is super, super nice. Comes 2-pound trigger, smooth like butter. Yeah. And like that for an entry level is the biggest bang for your buck that you're going to get anywhere in the market. You're not going to find a better $2,000 gun than that gun. And like, that's one cool thing too. They're very incredibly high quality pistols, and they're super affordable. Like a comparable sight block, like my Radical, is $6,500 with other companies. Whereas it's $3,700. It's $30 without the steel grip and the R package. With just a plastic grip, I believe it's $3,200. Nice. For a side block pistol. And this one, the fully decked out one, like this is $3,800. Like full race gun, brass mag well, all that. So
people don't realize, like, having 2 guns is great, right? But like, I also shoot 2011, and I haven't had to use a backup gun, right? They just work, and it's an investment, like you said. But think about like a Glock. If you put in the trigger and you change the guide rod and you change out the springs and the magwell and all this stuff, stippling, you're already probably in double what it's even worth. Or
when I see dudes with like $1,500-$1,600 like Zev Glocks, and I'm just like,
you're so
I got the Terran Combat Master Glock 34. That's more than a 2011. And I'm just like, why do you do this? Why do you do this?
Why are you like this?
I mean, I will say, like, a lot of dudes buy like super expensive shotguns and everything. A Stoeger M3K is like, it just runs. It runs and runs and runs and runs.
I'm gonna label your episode "Runs and Runs and Runs." Just runs.
And it's a $600 gun, and dude, it just goes and goes. And
like, that can work that over too. Like Steve Rose, right? And then MOA. Oh my God, my buddies. It just runs with the MOA package on it. Sweet.
MOA Precision does a lot of good shit. Shout out to Pacific Northwest.
You do. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about, actually, about Bul. So you've done a lot of charity fundraisers for those that do know you, and Bul Armory is a part of those at a lot. So can you talk about the organizations that you help raise funds for and how Bul helps with that?
Okay. So last like 4.5 years, I've raised over $1 million for different veterans foundations. Either they'll reach out to me and ask me to put on the event for them, or I'll do a couple myself each year. I do one for the VA hospital adaptive athlete program each year for myself, which helps sick, ill, and wounded vets get sporting prosthetics or sporting wheelchairs, and I also help send them to the DoD Warrior Games. That's kind of my big one I do every year. And then Bul has always supported me in all of those. And then I do one for because I'm a former Army Ranger too, and there is a difference. There's Army Ranger, and then there's Ranger regiments. And so it goes to families in need, 75th Ranger Regiment Families in Need. It's called the Brother in Need Fund. And I do that one in later in the year, in like, I think it's November, early November this year. And yeah.
But what are you raffling, and how many tickets do you sell? All of that good stuff.
For the big one, I do. So I'm not in charge of I just run the one, the Ranger one. I just put on the match. So it's whatever they can get for that one. But I raffle, God, what all did I raffle this year? Right now I'm raffling off a Mark 7 new Apex 10 and 9 mil, which you can't get. It's a forever wait to get one of those. On my Instagram, Beam Team 3 Gun, links in my bio. God, what all did we had? I don't even remember. We raffled off, Max Michelle gave me a gun to raffle, one of its new 320 Maxes, which a female actually won, which is pretty cool. She lived out in Nebraska. I can't remember her name. Cool. Felmel, as I spelled it on Instagram. And then we had one of those. We had some blocks. Jessica hooked us up with 1 to 8 Voodoo. This painter, she does a lot of military type painters. Her name's Invader Girl on Instagram. She does some super amazing stuff. She gives me a painting of my choice every year. She's a phenomenal human being. I'm grateful to have her in my corner for that. Her painting raised like, I don't know, like $3,000-$4,000 in raffle tickets alone. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff, man. I don't know. It's like I usually I do it in June. And I start reaching out to companies in January. Turner Arms Rifle Company here in North Carolina. Travis Turner, he always comes out and does good stuff. It's like, I don't know, we had like $20,000-$30,000 worth of prize table. It's good for me because I'm my own entity. It's not like you do like the Fort Benning or like the Memorial 3 Gun where you have a whole team of people to do all that stuff, and super great cause and everything. But that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work, and they do a great job.
It's awesome.
And but I can't do that. So
well, I think you can, and you have. I mean, that's the thing, though.
I mean, I can, but
you are.
Like I said, I think it was before we were on. I used to work with, be part of a nonprofit shooting team and stuff, and it left a really bad taste in my mouth with some of the people and their egos and everything. And it's like, it's about the cause, and it's about having humility and for the greater good and everything, which and I told myself, like, I will only do like solo stuff. I don't want to ask for like help. I don't really want to turn it into like essentially like a huge business and everything. It's much easier to keep it smaller. And when that's when I do it, like when I'm running the
raffle,
the event, like the whole event, like donations and everything like that. And then I actually do it through I'm part of the Veterans Motorcycle Club. They're actually the oldest all veteran motorcycle club in the country. They're about almost 40 years old. But our big thing is raising money for the VA hospital. So here in Fayetteville, we are actually the largest monetary donor for the VA hospital here.
Wow.
So I do the gun match, and then we do 2 poker runs, and then I do like a big raffle like in the middle of the year too, like with the press that I'm doing right now. And so we're the largest monetary donor for the VA hospital here in Fort Bragg.
That's
So
cool.
it's pretty cool. And I enjoy being a part of it. Real good, super good cause. And all it's not like your traditional like motorcycle club like you see on Sons of Anarchy and shit, but it's just about like veteran awareness, like helping out vets and stuff. And I super dig it.
I love it. My dad actually is one of the good guys, works at the VA in Florida. So, and he rides motorcycles and he taught me to ride and I have my license and all the good things. So, two questions on that. So, how are you looking, or could anybody listening help grow those fundraisers or help connect you to resources? And then how can people actually find these organizations and the raffles and all of that?
I mean, I don't have a huge social media following. I think I have like 3,000 people or whatever, but I'm always pretty active. Matthew Beam on Facebook, or Matthew Beam on Instagram, or Beam at Beam Team 3Gun. I always post shit. Like all I do is post, like I don't post any work stuff. It's all shooting and raising money. So, I mean, if you'd like to get in, you can always shoot me a DM. My email is matthew.r.beam 3121@gmail.com. Yeah, I mean, if you want to help out, let me know. If you want to donate to the cause, it's all tax write-off through a 501c3. And yeah,
it's huge. That's awesome. Congrats, bud. Thanks for all you do. So switching gears to talking about, you've been a match director, and I see on the cool, every time you put this match on, there's a major match that's already scheduled, but I'm gonna make it. Talk about the Zoo City Armory competitions that you put on. What are they? When are
they? Jason and everybody, those are my really good friends. And there's those Jason and Snappy are just like straight up like phenomenal human beings. Great dudes. They let me they host my big 3-gun match, but this year switching it up. So we're gonna do a 2-gun. No, listen, we're gonna do a 2-gun because this range is huge. Have you been there before?
No.
CGG? So we're gonna do a 2-gun on all of the lower bays in the long range, and then on the upper bays we're gonna do a USPSA on the same day.
Oh yeah, okay.
So try to maximize the amount of dollar dues we can get donated.
That's badass.
And yeah, and so like they always host and help set up, and yeah, and then Snappy every single year wins all of it. Like he won a pistol last year, he won a rifle, and then like every time I do a charity match, Snappy wins a big ticket item. He won Daniel Defense, their 3-gun rifle. He won that. He won a 2011. This year, he won like a Microtech knife, a steel grip from Phoenix Trinity, and I think he won a Glock. Like, well, I mean, he'll spend like $300, $400, $500, but it's always like he wins out super Gucci every year. But he deserves it, man. He does. Those two dudes have done more for the shooting community in the Carolinas than I don't think anybody can do in the next 100 years, man. Like those dudes have like built their true passion in what they've done for the shooting community. Like will never be repeated. Like those guys live and die, and they own Zoo City Armory ammo and everything, and what they've done for this community to continue the community to keep shooting. They wouldn't outsell their like when you couldn't get ammo, it was, hey, come to the match, we'll sell match. That they would only sell to people that come shoot their matches, because they wanted to continue to allow people to have a place to shoot and everything. And like those are the kind of superheroes that we need in the shooting community, man. Those are two phenomenal human beings.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think in my home range back in Tallahassee, they did the same thing where, hey, if you're a member or you're shooting a match or you're, part of the club, then you are going to get ammo, but we're not going to sell all of it out to, Joe Schmo that doesn't support us, or you got to shoot, and support your shooters that are out there, because we're not hoarding ammo.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it comes and it goes so fast.
Mhm.
Okay, so when is the next year's match?
I usually do it in June, like right beginning of June, like right like first second weekend of June, like right around my birthday, because that seems like right when the summer starts here, there's a big lull because it's hot. Like there's no major matches or anything for either USPSA or like 3-gun. Um, and so yeah, and it's just, and it kind of gets, because then it's still 6 months away or 8 or 10 months away from the Memorial 3-gun too, which is like the big one.
Yeah.
Out here and stuff too. And so it kind of gives me an offset and allows me to maximize opportunity to be able to donate to the VA hospital.
That's awesome. And then, okay, so setting these stages up, do you have ideas on how you're going to run the 2-gun and what they're going to look like as far as bays or run gun or props?
No, I know though. I know, like we did the mental rough draft in June, and then when it gets close, probably like January time frame, when I start spinning the wheels up for it. Usually what Jason does is Jason already have like some stuff up from the week before, and we just kind of finagle it around. And but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't do the match book. It's not a major match or anything for me. I just like the point is to raise money, and usually I make some pretty cool trophies and everything. But I'm not looking at it as a major match, more as a fundraiser for the VA hospital.
Yeah, it's definitely treated as a major match, but it's not the major match atmosphere or the level. But it is a big deal. It really is.
Yeah, I don't care. It's like, I mean, the match is cool and everything, and I want it to be a good match. But for me, the premise isn't the match, because I mean, there's a lot of people like, and I've personally seen it. Like one of my really close friends that's actually in the club with us too, he continued his career. He's a double below the knee amputee, and he continued till he retired as a team sergeant and everything. And he was dog handler, had 2 prosthetics, and it's hard. I thought it's pretty cool when the VA hospital, the lady here in Fayetteville, said they were going to be starting up this adaptive athlete program and stuff, because I mean, you can get the prosthetics, but the ones to be able to compete and do sports and everything, that's like a completely different ballgame. That's just not something that you can get and everything too. And so I was like, man, like, and I know personally, especially when I was dealing with mental health issues, because I was severely depressed for a while and everything too. And being able to compete and feeding that competitive drive and stuff is especially like one of the things that I personally think will ended up like saving my life at the end of the day, just because it's a positive outlet. You're not drinking and doing drugs or whatever that's your negative coping mechanism when you're depressed, whereas you can go out and it's a positive environment, you're fun, having a good time with friends and everything, and it's a positive coping mechanism, instead of you having a down day. Hey, I'm going to go to the range, or I can go out in the yard and train, do some reloads and everything. And that's the type of positive coping mechanism, being able to compete and do sports and everything, that people that are some sort of amputee or sick or ill, and that can exponentially like change your life, being able to compete in some sort of sport.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the reasons why I really got behind the VA hospital one.
On a joking side, is that you can't afford drugs and alcohol when you shoot. First of all, it's the best addiction out there.
I know, right?
It really is. And I mean, still mental health check for me as well, which is awesome. A lot of people, I think, in our community see that. Have you partnered or talked to Battle Buddy 3-gun at all?
So, I mean, I talked to Jack and everything a little bit about it. So this is one thing, when I first started doing it, I wouldn't tell anybody no. Yeah. Like, I think at one point, I think I did like 12 or 13 fundraisers for people in 1 year. And I was so burnt out. And you got to think about, and because I had three friends die, and then a few other friends commit suicide all in the same year. And which it was super hard on me. But it wasn't good for my mental health either, because especially when it's your friends and you're talking to the spouses and everything, you like have to relive it and everything too. And it's such an emotional ride, and doing that over and over and over and over again was so mentally taxing. And it was taxing on my family too, because I was always gone doing all that stuff. And so I try to limit myself to the two that I do. And if there is one other nonprofit that I will do anything for if they ask me. So I limit myself to the two that I do, or the third one, which is the SF Charitable Trust. And because they've done a lot for me.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's like, I love what they do and everything. And Jack, great human being, super, super killer thing that they're doing and stuff. And like I said, it's an adaptive athlete sport. And like, just seeing the joy on those guys' faces and everything too. And it's not something that they ever thought that they would be able to do.
Right.
And you give somebody an opportunity and something where, hey, I can actually do this, and be able to compete, and instead of like watching on the sidelines, and I can, like, it completely turns somebody's life around.
It does.
And it's some of the cool, like, it is like, God, I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like the feeling that you get when like you see that like shine in somebody's eyes where they never thought that they would be able to do this. Yep. And everything. And like that's why you do it. Yeah. And just like that shine and the smile and everything, and just like the excitement they have. It's like the most rewarding thing that I can possibly do. I mean, I've done some super cool shit in my life, but this is the most rewarding thing, like being able to see somebody go out and compete. I want to run a marathon. Okay, now I got the legs, I can do it. But I ran a half marathon one time and I finished it. Once I hit the finish line, I was like, why the fuck do people do this for fun?
Yeah.
But hey, whatever's your niche, man.
Yeah.
But that's why I do the things. And it's actually kind of cool. My buddy that I played football with in college, his name is Joe Dawson. He's a retired SEAL, and he does weapons for warriors. And he knew I was out here, and there's a 7th group Green Beret named Cody, and he got severely injured in an IED. And I went up to Ohio, and he thought he was going to the range with his wife and everything. And it was like this 375 Chi-Tech. It was like a $20,000 bolt gun with everything. And it was super cool. They were doing at Briar Rabbit. It's one of the big ranges out there in Zanesville. And they were doing like the Northeast Clay Shooting Championship. So there was like 1,000 people there, and they like brought everybody around, and he thought he was going to just go to the range with his wife. And like he was severely injured. Yeah. And it was cool, man. And that's when I first got it. And just like, he was so blown away. Like thinking about it, like gives me goosebumps, just like how excited he was. And it was cool to go because he hadn't hung out with another Green Beret in a long time, and just be able to like sit there and talk like a bro. Yep. And everything, and like feel like a human. And shit. And yeah. And I mean, that's actually where it started for me. And yeah,
I love it. You're gonna make me all emotional. I mean, I think that you do a lot of good, and the thing that I love to hear too is that firearms do more good than the harm that we hear about all the time. And I think that's
I just like, I'm not a political person per se, because in my opinion, the days of the politician for the people by the people is long gone. Yeah. But like, people don't understand, like, oh, you don't need this, like I don't even want to get into it, man, because I can go all day. But the amount of, like I said, it's like for sporting purposes, it's like it's a timeless wonder. Like you can, I've been to some USPSA matches and there's like dudes that like could barely walk and they're like 90 years old, but they're out there competing, hanging out with their friends. It makes you feel alive to be able, it's like, it's one of the few things you can do where you can compete against other people. You can compete against yourself and everything. And people just want to like think about the negative aspects of it and stuff. And they don't look at like the broader spectrum of what the gun community does and everything. I know like a lot of the gun community, like online, they stomp on it. It's like, it's toxic, I guess you could say, like all the tactical stuff back and forth and people's opinions, whatever. And it's like, just let people do their shit, man. Like,
yeah, live their life. But I think that
do what makes you happy. Don't judge people, and like grow the sport, grow the community. And it's all like positive mental attitude, man. Like glass half full. Like you don't got to shit on people.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like it would make everything so much better if like I want to, like, the attitude is growing the community. And people like get mad like teaching civilians like CQB or tactical stuff. It's just another tool in your kit, man. Like, who cares? I mean, you might not have some of the most reputable instructors or whatever, but you're going to get that everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, see for what it is. I mean, at least they're passing knowledge to other people in the community. And obviously there's these people that want to learn.
Yep. I
mean, there are people like, you see that dude that's like the Detroit cop dude that's like tries to take the guns out of your hands and everything. It's you see made fun of all the time on social media. You don't see any of that. There's this big fat dude and he's some like Detroit cop or whatever. And he's like, you put the gun here, and it's like the slowest thing. It's ridiculous. It's very comical. But it's like, that's one thing too. Like when I run my USPSA stuff, is it's just like, I want people to come out here and good time. I had a terrible experience.
Yeah.
A terrible experience. I didn't want to shoot USPSA ever again. And I didn't want people to feel like that. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to have the most inviting, like, you come here, like, we're going to coach the shit out of you. It's me and all. So I make sure, because I cap my match at 40 people, 40 people, 4 squads of 10.
Okay.
And I don't want it big because we get a shit ton of new shooters, and a lot of the Q Corps students, or a lot of the Marine Corps new Marine Corps shooters come down, because we're like halfway in between Camp Lejeune and Fort Bragg. And so we always have on each squad, I make sure one of my friends that's like a seasoned shooter and everything, like being able, and we coach the shit out of them, and we talk about it before, and then but that's the way it should be, man. Like, everything should be a positive experience. Like your initial entry into it is like, you should be like, man, these are the greatest people that, like, what a great time I had. Like, I want people to leave my match and be like, man, I don't do anything crazy. Like, I got a couple swingers and some steel, and I throw up some no shoots and stuff. I mean, I do.
You have to make it challenging a little bit for your people that come every day.
Yeah. And but I want people to come and just be like, this is rad. Like, just leave here. It's like, this is rad. I want to do this again.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't make any money like off of any of this. It's like, it goes right back into buying targets and buying the swinger. I just bought a stomp pad. And so
does it work on like area 6s?
Oh yeah, it works great. And but I actually used it for the first time. It did a double swinger. I have super slow swingers. They're like, so they're not super intimidating. And like at area 8, they were like,
yeah.
And
that was scary to watch those.
And that's the way it should be. Like,
yeah,
I love this sport for like what it is, for what it does. It can do for like people's mental health and just being able to compete, and what it does to be able to translate to like the military and everything. And like
now concealed carry with appendix draw, and using your appendix holster. That's awesome.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I will say that like if I had a new shooter come and he said, "This is all I have,"
run it.
Cool, man, run it. And
yeah,
and I would never turn anybody away, ever.
No.
And like if you needed gear, you didn't have this, I always bring all my extra shit. You need ammo, I don't know what to do. You're good to hook, man.
That's the thing that we do, is we remove the excuses. I don't have guns, I don't have ammo, I don't have gear.
Well, I want to practice more.
No.
I was like, I had like 4 range days before I shot my very first 3 gun. And so I was like, you just got to get out there and grip and rip it.
That's the hardest part, is just starting. But to tie a little pretty bow on it, at a young level, these matches actually teach young kids firearm safety from a very young age. I'm talking about they respect them, they know the safety rules, and they demonstrate them.
This is one thing I will say, this, that what USPSA really, really needs to do, since obviously like Free Gun doesn't have a governing body and isn't a nonprofit and isn't a multi-million-dollar thing. USPSA does a really bad job, my personal opinion. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that agree with me, giving back to the community and attempting to really grow the sport. When it comes to, I personally think that they have the funds. They should hold some kind of junior camp in every area, 1 through 8, every year, because you will get some of the best shooters in each area to come do that on their own dime. Because there's people that truly care, and you pay for the targets, like all that stuff, and it's not that, or you can block out a hotel or something like that, and it's USPSA's dime, and you bring out like 20-25 youth shooters. And or you can do like you don't have to do, if money's an issue, you can do one on the West Coast, you can do it in Arizona or whatever, or up in Washington, you can do one here, and you can do one in Texas. Because I think what Infinity's doing with their junior camp thing is badass, and that should be the example for the rest of USPSA. And I really think there should be like new shooter symposium type thing where you can come and do like all day Saturday, just start out from square one, and same thing, 20 people, and it should 20-30 people, and you do that in each area, and you do it twice a year, and you do 20-25, maybe 30 people, and you break it up on each bay, and you can have people that are like seasoned ROs come out. Because the people in the USPSA, like, I mean, I had a really bad first experience, but like, I love this community, like you really get to know people. And some of the people that like travel everywhere around the East, like LJ travels so much, my buddy Jerry, they go to all of them. And like those people will come out and help you, and that like investing in what makes you what you are, I think is super key. And I think that's super lacking in the USPSA. Is like, I mean, hey, you spend some money, but I mean, in the end of the day, you're going to make money, because the amount of growth you're going to get, and like showing and like investing back into the people that what makes you
it's huge.
And I that's something that like I wish, maybe since USPSA is a part-time job for the president now, maybe I'll apply for that shit when I retire. But
well, the other thing too is like Kevin was just recently on the podcast, and we talked about, we used to run like an intro to competition shooting, and that was an HK sponsored shooter, John, that would run it. And more ranges could do that, and it's just that, again, that's an investment for local clubs too, if USPSA won't pick it up. But hey, like I'd be willing to run a camp or a class. I don't know who would show up, right? But I think
USPSA should do it. Like I don't know why Foley was making $120,000 a year. Like it, what? And like the salaries are ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked up their financials. Obviously it's public because it's a 501c3, but like I don't personally think that like they should make any money. Like $60,000 part-time, I thought was ridiculous. Like it needs to go back out into the community. It's about the sport, not about some goons making money. Like,
so Matt just said that on the podcast. Here we go.
I don't know, man. It's just like that. This is just my perception of what it should be. Is like, I'm just a giving person, and like if I ran USPSA, I would be like junior camp, new shooter symposium, whatever. Here.
Go run for president.
We'll pay for the fucking targets. We'll see if we can get fucking what we can do to help with fucking ammo, whatever. If we got to fly out like Bill Drummond, JJ Racaza, whatever, or fucking some of the best area shooters to put them up in a hotel, we'll pay for that shit. Because on the back end, you know how much the sport's going to grow, because those people that were on the fence, they're going to bring 2 or 3 of their friends, and those kids are going to bring 2 or 3 of their friends, and stuff like that. And like you can get
run for president,
few hundred thousand people.
Being like, 2022.
Yeah, just with a little bit of effort. And I don't know, man. I don't think it's all just about traveling and stage designing and sponsors. It needs to be more about the shooters. And I just don't think that they do. One thing I'm just kind of on my little rant right here. One thing I don't think like sections and areas do. One thing that I saw out west when I was back home is like the Cascade section out there and stuff. Like they really highlight the other matches in like the section in the area, like highlight shooters and like just, hey, a new shooter, like highlight a new shooter, like talk to them or whatever, or highlight a match, the monthly match at this range and stuff like that. And we don't do a very good job of, essentially, I guess, of like pimping our own people, man. Like what makes your section, what makes your area and everything. I don't think we really, like, if you look at the Facebooks of the areas and stuff, most of them are dead.
Yeah, they are.
Nobody does anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. You plan a match, but like your big match, but what's going on in the rest of your area? Like there's what's cool, like back home in the Cascade section too, they do, the whole section does like this points match. And like, it's like this week it's going to be here, and it gets everybody to travel around and goes to see the other ranges and stuff like that too. And yeah, it's a little bit more work on the computer and everything, but I just like, I don't know. I think everybody just kind of goes with the flow a little bit and doesn't want to. I mean, everybody has their own lives. I get that, but I just think like if you're super passionate about something and wanting to like grow something and into like something bigger to give back, then that should be your job. And it shouldn't be just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's a high school election where you're going to promise like, I'm going to get better shit tickets for the bathroom. I'm going to get 3-ply instead of 1-ply. Okay. Like,
but I would like fucking porta potties for fucking females, or how about more porta potties? Matthew. That is one thing that 3Gun does absolutely wrong. I have never seen enough bathrooms or a bathroom at the last match I was at, period.
Hey, you're barking up the wrong tree, sister. I'm in the Army.
Hey, no, I'm fine. But like when parents are asking me where to go, I'm like, you're going to have to shit in front of my truck. Like, no joke, Matt.
Bucket.
No joke. My 3Gun box is right next to me. Okay. It's fucking toilet paper.
I have some in the back of my 4Runner.
Yeah. So no, you're spot on. Like Cowboy Action, they have a junior sponsorship. They have a woman's sponsorship too that they do. They do some classes and stuff, which is really cool. And the thing about Cowboy Action I like too, though, is it actually bridges some of the generational stuff too that can be passed down. Which is really neat. Like I've seen people that can make knives, right? And they're teaching the younger ones how to do some of that stuff, which is really neat, and how to shoot. But a lot of these
it's just like, I don't think the sections and everything, like down to the lowest level, I don't think it's done to where people like truly want to like grow the sport or anything like that. And like I said, it's all personal opinion. Like I think that's like an injustice to this sport and what like this awesome like shooting sports in general, but especially the USPSA, to where like you can it's hard to shoot 3-gun when you're 60, 70, 80 years old. I will say that because it's a lot of terrain and everything like that. But USPSA especially, like, it's for everybody. It is literally for everybody. And we don't do enough to, like, a lot of people don't even know about it. Like, what, you want to keep it this like top secret like little group? I mean, this is a phenomenal sport. I don't know why we're trying to be like secret sisters of the traveling pants over here, like whatever it is. I can't even believe I thought about that. I worked at a movie store for a while.
You did.
And I don't know why we do it like that. And I like announce this shit to the world, man. Like, it's awesome. And I mean, I know there's maybe one or two idiots like me that will agree with everything that I'm saying. And it's like I'm not trying to like bag on, like, talk shit about anybody, but I just think more could be done, like for like lowest level, from the section to the area. Like, we go on Facebook and look at area 1 through 8. I think area 2 does a lot. And for their social media stuff. And that's like it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like none of the sections. The only sections I see that do a shit ton of social media is the Cascade section back home. Jim Boone, he's super cool dude. And then like the NorCal section out there does a lot of social media stuff too. But I don't follow all the sections, obviously.
You know, that if someone gave me access to any of those Facebook pages, that I would handle it, right?
Yeah. And it's like, just, I don't know. It's
a bummer.
Yeah. And it's kind of like disheartening. I'm just like, you have all these great ranges, all these great shooters, and people doing like super cool stuff for the community and whatever. Like, get it out there, man. Like I said, why is this like some top secret like thing? Like, are you afraid people are going to take the primers? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't get it.
Cool. Well, if you agree with Matt and you're listening to this, hit him up, have some ideas, throw some ideas at your area director. By the way, your email for area matches or directors or whatever is area number at USPSA, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, super simple.
I will say that Area 6 director, he's a cool ass dude. I will say that. But like, I just think yeah, like I'm just kind of like repeating myself. Like, there can be so much more done with just a little bit more effort.
I like it. I don't want to round that off too far into this left field, but I did want to ask how can others get involved and help you out in the future, whether it be like ROing or just helping, like you said, maybe raise awareness, or get involved with their local communities and grow the sport?
I don't know. I mean, you can always ask me. Like, I'll talk to you about like ideas and everything. And like, kind of, if you want, like, if you're somewhere, if you're in like Winchesterton, Fieldville, Iowa, or whatever, Mr. Deeds plug, and you want to do something for your local VA hospital, just like, let me know. I literally have like a memorandum saved on digits and stuff, and it's like a request for like sponsorship or donations and whatever. And if like there's something you want to do through a 501c3 or do something, like, I know a lot of people, and like, I'll be, depending on where you're at, I can get you in touch with these people if you want to do. And like, if you want to help me, if you're in the Fort Bragg area or whatever, and you want to reach out in North Carolina, South Carolina area, want to reach out and help, RO, whatever, lend a hand, like shoot me a DM, and I'm all about it, man.
Slide to Matt's DM. So Matt,
oh yeah.
Can't even say it with a straight face. So what's next for Matt Beam?
I don't know. Work and still work. Getting ready for the NC state match, and hopefully I have not had a good major in a while. Like last year was my first full year of shooting USPSA, and I shot really well. I had a couple top 10s in limited and everything. I think the worst I finished in like the 6 or 7 major slot last year was like 13th or 14th. But this year I just haven't been able to put it together in major matches, but hopefully North Carolina's coming up. We'll be at North Carolina Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to sell raffle tickets for the Mark 7 Apex 10, which all the proceeds go to the VA hospital, and it's only 500 tickets are being sold, and they're $50 a piece. And so I'm hoping to raise $25,000, and it all goes to the VA hospital deaf athlete program to help get sporting prosthetics for sick, ill, and wounded veterans.
Awesome, Matt. It's awesome. I'm glad I wanted you on here just to talk about all the stuff that you do and raise awareness on that, right? Any final thoughts that you want to leave listeners with?
No, I mean, hey, be humble and pay it forward. I mean, it pays off. It's a very gratifying thing. Yeah. And seriously, thank you. This is the first podcast I've ever done. Had a good time. Had a good time. Dropped some great movie plugs, or some great movie quotes, some shameless plugs. Like, I got to do it all today. So I got to show off. Some cool shit. Like, it was a great time.
A lot of fun. I'm enjoying it too. And I like what you said about pay it forward, because I actually have more fun when I watch someone that I brought having fun more than like my match. You know what I mean? So cool. It's all a lot of fun. And you can do this again. So any final shout outs you want to give to sponsors to wrap this up?
Well, obviously, like, thank you to everybody who's given me the opportunity, especially like Bul Armory, Chad at Priority One Holsters, Hunter's HD Gold, Brian, he's the man. And then everybody that kind of like helped me along the way, like Travis Denman got me in the game. Bill Drummond, been an awesome mentor for me. Chris Tilley, Kevin Stickley, one of my closest friends, really got me into shooting USPSA, even though I used to be a huge USPSA hater. And he's like, you're gonna like it, and be like, no, but the 3 guns the best. But people change.
Comes full circle.
And 5.56 got really expensive.
It's a little high.
Yeah, I'm forever grateful for all the opportunities I've had, and definitely forever grateful for the opportunity to speak on your podcast. So pretty cool. I had a great time.
Me too. And final thing, remember, people, Beam Team 3 Gun, right?
Yes.
On Instagram. Reach out to him and get involved. So Matt, thank you again. Hopefully we stirred some things up too for people to think on and chew on. You know?
Awesome. Have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.